Hello, my name is Evan. This is my first unboxing video, and hopefully there will be many more. But today I am going to do an unboxing of a game by the name of Camp Grizzly. Camp Grizzly was a game that was funded on Kickstarter, and I just received mine in the mail, and wanted to do an unboxing so you could see what came with it. Now, some of you who have an interest in this game may have seen some of the previous review videos and playthroughs, which were done with an early version of the game. Some of the graphics are slightly different. As you can see, even here, the cover of the game is completely different. The old one that you saw had large red lettering with just a narrow strip of artwork in the middle. But now we have a full piece of art for the cover of the box. One of the things that I'll show you first, and this was an extra add-on that you could get with the pledge. The game itself comes with cardboard stand-ups for the various counselors that you end up playing. But as an extra, they offered miniatures, which I'm kind of a miniature enthusiast, so of course I had to get that. But the miniatures were done by a group called Zombie Smith for them. This here, you can see, is Otis. He's carrying an axe in one hand. He has his bear mask on. And various other of the counselors, done in various different poses with various pieces of things that you can find in the game, like she's carrying an axe. Obviously, she is the character that's there on the front of the box. This is, I believe, Jody. He's got his hand up defensively. I believe this is CJ, another one that's running. This is, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, the lifeguard. He's got a baseball bat. So it gives you a different option to use instead of the cardboard stand-ups. I'm not sure if they're going to make them available later on for purchase. If they do, and you like miniatures, I would suggest getting them. They're pretty nice, and I think it'll make the game seem that much more interesting if you have those and you get them painted up. So I'm going to take off the lid here. It says side. So here we have the rule book. Pretty standard. It's not that big. I've given it a read through. The rules are pretty easy to understand in terms of how to play the game. If you watched any of the playthroughs and the reviews, you will notice that there are some slight differences in the rules from the previous versions. One of the earliest things, which, from what I remember reading, if you can see here, the body count track now starts at 0, whereas before it started at 1 and you put the card on it, and the bonus didn't come until after you moved on off of it, which was something that I frequently saw done incorrectly in some of the playthrough videos. So it looks like they cleared it up by going ahead and starting it at 0. Of course, some of that can change depending on how you end up doing the setup. Here we have the pawns for the game. These are the cardboard stand-ups. It's double-sided, and you'll see underneath there's a little baggie that has the plastic bottoms that would hold it up. And finally, we have the tokens, also double-sided. As you can see, the question marks, those are the objective tokens. And then the little circles that you see there along the side are the status markers. Now, one of the things that I have to say, I'm actually rather impressed that they have so few tokens. And that may sound strange. The current state of board games seems to be the more tokens, the better. Or at least that's my impression. Even on Kickstarter, when you're looking at many of the new board games, they seem to advertise as a selling point that they have, 150 plus or 200 plus tokens, and that just ends up being a lot of tokens to try and keep track of. I mean, even something you'd think as simple as, say, Zombicide has a whole ton of tokens that you end up having to keep track of. So I think the fact that they have so few tokens actually, I think, is kind of refreshing and is kind of nice. Now, certainly, I don't mind having tokens in a game. They certainly help things from a bookkeeping standpoint, as well as kind of add to some of the strategy and the complexity of a game, depending on how those tokens are set up and stuff. But it's kind of nice to see one that doesn't have 5 billion tokens that you need to try and keep track of. And next, we have the game board. So it's a quad fold-out board. As you can see here, like I said, the body count now starts at 0, and the bonuses that Otis gets happens as you move up onto the space. If you've seen the previous incarnations, this map is pretty much exactly the way that it was previously. The only difference is you can tell that the artwork has changed. It's slightly different than it was, and it's kind of been cleaned up. Previously, you would have just seen kind of like a white line in between, and now it actually looks like a trail. The nature trails, it was just a green circle with a number in it and a green line to the next one, and now they actually kind of make it look like nature trails. It's a very nice looking board. Easy to see. You might not see it on the camera quite as much, but I mean you can see the lines easily that break up the spaces within the various cabins. This right here, this bag has the different plastic stands in it for the cardboard stand-ups if you're just going to use those instead of doing the miniatures. And comes with the dice. There's one each of a 4-sided, 10-sided, 6-sided, and 8-sided. If you haven't seen anything previously on the playthroughs, different weapons and Otis at different levels when you do combat, they're worth a particular die, and that's the die that you roll when you try and do combat. These little rings, these are just for using on the counselor cards, which actually I may as well pull it out and show you. Here are the counselor cards, and that's the finale card is on the back. Over here is their health. So you would just use this ring and you would put it over it to indicate where you were, and you would move it down as you take damage. And a little bit later, we'll go ahead and open this up and just kind of take a quick look at them. You got 2 packs of cabin cards. There's 84 cards in total. Cabin cards. 84 cabin cards in total in the box. And whoo, flying out of my hand. And these are the every turn after you move, you draw a cabin card, and they bring up cameos. They can have Otis strike. They can cause events, all kinds of different things that happen. Lots of different tropes, from horror movies pop up in the cabin cards. And then finally, they are the survival cards, and these are cards that help you out in various ways. You draw a cabin card every turn, but survival cards are much more rare. Like this one here that's on the bottom, athletic, it's a permanent card, so it stays with you. You may move 1 additional space during your move phase. Obviously, that would be helpful. These, like I said, they're much harder to come by, and there are plenty of ways to end up having to get rid of all your survival cards as well. So, much like a slasher film that this is based off of, they're not going to make it easy on you. So I'm going to go ahead and open the cards. That way we can take a quick look at them, and we'll see them after the jump. Alright, so I've given the cards open, and as you'll notice, something that you may have noticed also if you have seen any of the previous reviews, and gameplay videos of it. The finale cards. However, what you'll notice on this is that there are 2 of each. And the reason why there are 2 of each, the objectives on them are the same. However, what happens to get through it, through the finale, is different on each one. Now, this is a change from previously where there was only 1. Now, some of the other expansions that are going to be coming out are going to have other finales. Not entirely sure if they are going to just be different versions of the same ones or if they're going to offer other ways for it to end. The expansions are also going to have extra cabin and survival cards and new counselors and campers and stuff like that. So, so there's those. And then finally, we have the various counselors. So here's CJ. As you can see on the back, they have a neat little, much like the cabin and survival cards, how they're supposed to kind of look like some kind of, they remind me of the Boy Scout manuals from when I was a kid. Is kind of what they look like. So the base set, you get CJ and Jody and Karen. Kevin, that was the name of the guy that I couldn't remember, the miniature that's holding the baseball bat. And Sherry. And Tracy. I have to give it to him. The artwork in this game is great. The illustrator that they had to do it has actually worked with, I believe they said that he had worked with Marvel. I could be wrong, so now I'm going to have to look it up. Because they also had a professional colorist do it who had worked previously with Marvel, and I may be mixing them up. But the artwork throughout it is great, and as you can see, they did it great because this is supposed to be evocative of 70s slasher movies like Friday the 13th and stuff like that. I mean, you look at the clothing and everything, and it's very much in that vein. So it really fits, really kind of sets the scene. I know they always say looks aren't everything, but they actually did a very good job with this game in terms of the artwork, and it really, really adds to it. And then, of course, here's Otis's card. No faux book cover on the back for that, just his mask. And you would use the rings for this as well to put down what his current level is in stock, which is how far he moves, his attack, what he rolls, and the damage that he causes. And obviously, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4. If he's doing 4 damage, if he gets to the point he's doing 4 damage, people are going to get killed with 1 hit. So there are various ways in the game to knock his stats down, but there's lots of ways for them to go up too. So there's those, and we'll open up these cards next. Before I get to that, actually, I should talk about this real quick. This is another card that's in there. This is the setup card. Comes in 2 versions, easy and normal. And one would suspect that at some point in the future, they will offer alternative setups, some that may start harder, where the body count is already higher. See, even this one says start the body count at 1, and notice it's stock at 2. Whereas this one, the body count starts at 0. Someone already starts with the keys, and you remove some of the objective tokens that make things harder, like taking out the Otis strikes. And it shows you where you have to put the objective markers and stuff like that. So there's that. And you use this to set it up at the beginning. So now I'll open the packs of the cards, just so we can kind of take a quick flip through them, and we'll do that after. All right. So back from opening these up. Again, cabin cards. These are ones that you end up having to draw every turn. they come in various types. There's a plot twist blackout, where the lights get turned out. And it causes you to become horrified, which is a status that you can end up inheriting in the game. Otis likes going after people who are horrified. It causes other issues too. Not going to get really that in-depth into it, but there's environment cards, if I can get it to focus on it. There we go. Which, I hear Otis causes double damage, which it's really bad. I mean, you figure all he has to do is get up to doing 2 damage, and you draw this card for 2 turns. Anytime he ends up hitting somebody, they're going to be dead. Your body count can go up real fast. Again, here's another plot twist. Closed door. You can try and open the door if you want. Tempt Fate is a specific mechanic in the game where you end up drawing that number of cabin cards. And when you draw them, obviously you draw a red card, which would be like an Otis Strikes card, or an Otis Rumor card. That's bad. So that means, you know, you see a closed door with blood coming out from under it. Obviously, if you were in the movies, you would be yelling at the person not to open that door, which of course then they'd open it and probably end up getting slaughtered. Tempt Fate 2, possibly not that bad. What you might see as we flip through these cards, there's one where 2 counselors decide to kind of get it on, and it ends up being Tempt Fate 5, which would be very, very bad. Falling down the stairs, more plot twist cards. Don't look up, there's a dead body hanging up there. And you see by the artwork, obviously, this game does have some gore. After all, it is supposed to be based off of horror movies. You know, a door ajar, slowly squeaking open. Environment cards, the card starts pouring down rain. I mean, this is all stuff that you see in all these various horror movies. Of course, there's a little takeoff of E.T., which is kind of funny. You see Otis flinging them off a cliff. So, again, like I had said, great artwork. Lots of good stuff in here. Ooh, that looks painful. And up here's what I was just talking about. You see, it's its own status of card, fooling around, keep off the grass. Well, that one's only a Tempt Fate 2, so apparently you weren't fooling around all that hard. But yeah, not something that you, not a good thing to do when you're in a horror movie, obviously. Now, another type of card here is Cameos. Now, you may or may not remember, move the board back over here from the cardboard stand. So you can see here Karen's boyfriend, and he's right there. So the Cameos are special characters that pop up in the game, and they do various things. They also stalk, and usually have something that they're going after. And they kind of basically just make things harder on you in the game. And if Otis runs into him, he kills him. Then you don't have to worry about him anymore, other than the fact that the body count goes up and makes Otis that much more difficult to deal with. But you can see there's various types of cameo characters. And then there's also campers, which are other people who are there at the camp that they end up going around with you and helping you out in various ways. They're usually little kids, which there's always a problem where if Otis comes after you and you have campers and he makes you run away, the campers die. So you can end up feeling really bad that you got a bunch of little kids dead. So hopefully you end up staying away from them while you have these little kids in your care. Otherwise, you're going to feel really, really bad. He actually is sort of a junior medic. That's why he has the blood. It's not because he's a serial killer or anything. There's other things that help you too, like an 8-track player, which you can use to get Otis to go after that as opposed to you. There's things that will help heal you, things that will stop Otis for a while, weapons, other items like a flashlight, like the aforementioned blackout. If you have a flashlight, then you're not horrified because you have a light source. Like instant camera that forces Otis to re-roll an attack die. This you can use to stop his attack. There's clothing items that you can equip. There's all kinds of things here in the cards. Whoop! Almost dropped the camera. That would be bad. And then finally we have the survival cards. Again, like I said, these are things that are beneficial to you, that help you out. While there certainly are things that can help you out in here, there's a lot of other things that can mess with you. These specifically are boons, I guess you could say, like having one additional space during your move, another permanent one, where, well, okay, I guess they're not all beneficial. I mean, this one you have to draw an additional card when you're tempting fate. Here, this one lets you ignore a cabin card, so if it's really bad, but it could be good. If you draw a strikes card, you can end up ignoring it. So there are definitely things that can help you out in here. Desensitized, obviously a takeoff of carry. Something tells me that that is probably a takeoff of something, but I can't tell you what. And like I said before, I mean, the artwork is just great, very evocative of the setting. Really kind of lets you see what it is that the card is about. They did a really good job, and definitely commend them for that. So anyway, so that is all the stuff that comes with the game. Obviously, the miniatures didn't come with the game, but that's something that hopefully they will make for general sale once the game itself goes on general sale. Obviously, right now, they're still sending it out to the various Kickstarter backers, and then they're also getting it to work on the 5, yes, I said 5 expansions that got unlocked during the Kickstarter campaign. And then those are going to be released as they come along, and they're going to include more cabin cards, pardon me, more cabin cards, more survival cards, more counselors. You may have seen during some of the early reviews and playthroughs, a lot of them were using a counselor. I think his name was Jason. He was a horror movie fanatic. He is actually going to come in expansion number 5, which is called the Rated R expansion. So he's not in the base set. They're going to be, like I said, more finales and possibly more setups. So I have kickstarted more things that I probably care to admit to. But I have to say, this was the second thing that I ever kickstarted, and something that I've been anticipating getting for quite a while. And I'm glad to have finally gotten it, and I'm really, really looking forward to playing it. The quality of the stuff is nice. The cards are nice, even though, I mean, they never offered to do anything like a linen finish on the cards or anything like that as a stretch goal, but even without that, they're a nice quality, and they really feel like they'll hold up to playing. And I can't wait to get some friends over to give it a try. And I'm looking forward to the expansions too, and getting the miniatures painted up. As always, if you're interested in anything else, I do have a blog. It's called, it's at smallworldminis.blogspot.com. And there I post various things about me painting miniatures and stuff like that. I put my unboxing stuff on there too. I've done previous unboxings of miniatures and other stuff that that I've just taken pictures of. This, like I said, is my first video. So if you're interested, go ahead and go there. The there should be a link in the description of the video, and feel free to comment, or even go to the blog and comment. I'd be happy to hear from you. So until next time, bye.